What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Welcome back to ARK Survival Evolved. Today I got a quick video for you. It's a tip on how you can build better using pillars and the ceiling pieces. A lot of times when people build with pillars and ceiling pieces, what ends up happening is the pillar ends up sticking up through the ceiling and it just doesn't really look that good. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to get the ceiling pieces so that they're nice and flat like this, and you don't have the pillar sticking through that. Now, the reason why you build with pillars and ceiling pieces is because a lot of the ARK world isn't flat. It's got very big hills and everything, so like if you were trying to build a structure using just foundations, you'd end up with something like this, where you place it right there, and then you go to place the next one. You can't because it's on a hill. And then when you place it over here, well, we can't even place it there. It won't snap to it because the hill is too big. So in order to kind of work around that and still have a nice kind of flat building, you can use pillars and ceiling pieces. But again, you want it to look like this and not have the pillar sticking through. So how do we accomplish that? Well, if you place the first pillar, hold on, the wrong one. If you place the first pillar down right here, and then you go to put a ceiling piece on it, it will be flat, all right? But then whenever you expand it, so we're going to expand it over one, and then we're going to try to put a ceiling piece, a pillar in, what's going to happen is it's going to end up sticking through, and you don't want that. So here's how to work around that. So we're going to place down a wooden pillar right here. Then we're going to place the thatch right on top of it. Then we can put more thatch over here. And then we can put down the pillar. Now, this is going to stick through the top. As you can see, it's going to stick through the top. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to then take this one down. All right. Then we're going to put a new pillar here. And it's going to stick through the top. And that's what we want. We actually want it to stick through the top like that. So we're just going to keep building this out like here. And we'll build that out right there. And then we're going to put another one down right there. And see, it's all sticking through the top. And again, that's what we want. We want that to happen. I actually need to build a little bit of a ramp right here. Hold on. What was it? So it's this one right here. So let's place this right about there so that way I can jump up on top really easy. So we're going to jump up on top, and now what we're going to do, now that we have, we have this kind of thatch. This is the thatch underfloor, okay? It's an underfloor. This is not the floor that we're actually going to have for the structure. It's what's underneath it. And then we have the pillar that's sticking through. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to place another ceiling piece on top of this pillar, and now it's going to be flush. So now it's going to be nice and smooth. And then you can just kind of attach it to the other ones. And this is going to be just like that. And you'll notice that the floor is nice and smooth. Now we can go back and we can actually take this out and replace it like that. And notice it's still not sticking through. Then you can come back and you can actually remove the thatch under part if you want. And now you have a whole bunch of pillars that are all making the top part nice and smooth. Oops, I just jumped off. Sorry, hold on. Let me see here. So now, when I build this out, hold on. Let's try to expand it a little more here. So now when I build this out, where are we going? There we are. Now everything is going to be nice and smooth. Now it's important though that if you want to add more pillars, you have to make sure that you attach it to, see how that's attached to the top ceiling piece. And if we kind of move it, it's a little bit difficult here, but if you notice, like it'll actually move downwards. There it goes. See how it's like shifting? See how it's shifting? Hold on, where was it? It was just, there it goes. So see how it's shifting ever so slightly? So one of those, what we want to do is we want to actually, hold on, let's see if we can get this. Where is it? I have a feeling that right there it goes. Oh, hold on. This can be a little bit tricky sometimes. That's why I recommend making all of the pillars first rather than trying to do that. So now let's see. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, we got it. Now if I place that there, that shouldn't be sticking out. Nope, it isn't. Because the difference, what happens when you saw it like shift, when you saw it like kind of like, it looked like it turned a little bit. What it was doing, it was actually making it so that it, instead of attaching to this part, it was attaching to this part. So if I were to remove this ceiling piece right here, you'd see that the ceiling is actually, that the pillar is sticking through. So that's how you can do it. Now, what you can actually do is you can kind of modify this a little bit, where you can. Do I have any more? I don't. I don't have any more ceiling pieces here. Let's make some more thatch real fast here. So let's make a bunch of. That's sloped. We want regular one. Okay, so we're gonna craft a couple more of these. And what you can actually do is you can modify the height even more. So, like, I can put this thatch on top of there, and then what I could do is I could put a pillar. Hold on, where's the pillar here? I could put a pillar that's attached to this one right here. I think this is actually gonna stick through. Yes, it is. Okay, so there you go. So if you just kind of like click on it, you'll notice that it's sticking through. So now what I can do is I can actually add another level if I want to. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add another pillar here. And when I'm looking, so I see it sticking up through the top, then I wanna look down just a little bit till it disappears and then place it. It didn't actually replace any of the other pillars that was below it. It didn't replace the stone one, and it didn't replace the wooden one that was in front of it. You can actually see like how it was fluctuating a little bit because there's multiple pillars there. And now it's sticking up through again. So you can put another one. And you got this huge kind of like thatch burger looking thing. And then you look at it, you press it, you put the pillar in there, then just look down ever so slightly till it disappears. Once it disappears, click. It won't actually replace anything. But when you come up here, you'll see that the pillar is now sticking through. And again, you can place it on top. So what is the purpose of this? Well, this allows you to basically get a height of pretty much whatever you want. And once you got the height that you want, now, once you get the height you want, you have to actually like build out of that, okay? And then once you place this, now that is gonna stick through, okay? So what you have to do is you actually have to go one under. Like, so if I actually wanted to have it so that it was flush with, oh, you know what? We need to grab another thatch. Hold on, let me show you here. So if we wanted it so that it was actually flush at that level, what we would actually do is we're going to have to get rid of this one right here. We're going to get rid of this one. Okay. And we want it to be flush with that up top, okay? So we're going to place this right here. Then we're going to place this one, not on the top, not right there, but down one. See how it clicks? See how it clicks a little bit? That's showing that it's attached to the top one. It's attached to the bottom one. We're going to put that right there, and now it's going to be nice and smooth on the top. See right there? And then we're just going to keep, we're just going to keep building out. You can build out over here, build out over here, and we can put another pillar right there, and then you can just put, another one up on top. There you go. And it's, oops, a little too low. Just replace that one. And you put another one right up top here. There you go. So now you got this nice floor. And what you can do is you can use this in order to make a floor any height you want. This is actually how I got the height inside my base, so that the floor is kind of like flush with the top of the vault. You see that right there? See that sandwich right there? Where I have, the pillars, And then I have, you know, the 1, the 2, and then the third floor right there. So I got a whole, like the little sandwich. It's a little stone sandwich right there. And by adjusting that, I was able to get a height that is right above the vaults. And it's also flush with the vaults. So go ahead and mess around with that. I hope it helped. Just remember, you have to build the under thatch, and then you can put whatever material on top that you want. You can put the stone or whatever, and it will make it nice and flush. I hope this was easy to follow. I hope it helps you build better structures. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. Subscribe for more ARK content. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your